The NASCAR Winston Cup Series paid visit to the Pocono Mountains of Pocono, Pennsylvania this past weekend. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. That's where we are at the 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway where the Champion Spark Plug 500 was run. Always a lot of excitement on this unique racetrack. We'll have that for you and much more in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing.
The Champion Spark Plug 500 was filled with blown engines, foiled pit stops, and plenty of green flag action. In the end, it was Alan Kowicki pulling off win number 2 of 1992. Highlights coming up.
After Travis Carter closed up shop, Jimmy Spencer has taken the wheel of Dick Moroso's Busch Grand National car, hoping for a return to victory lane and a return to a Winston Cup ride.
I feel that I've done well in Winston Cup, but I haven't showed my full potential yet.
With big buck sponsors, high-paid drivers, and crew chiefs, the pressure to produce in Winston Cup racing is at an all-time high. From pit stops to the ultimate stop in victory lane, we'll take a look at the pressure to perform.
Inside Winston Cup Racing is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Kodak Gold Film. Show your true colors.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
It is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution, microfine grain, superior image structure, for ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details. Ektar Film now comes in a new cartonless package in 25, 100, and 1,000 speeds.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
You'd think the world would be nothing but a blur at this speed. But at 200 miles an hour, a lot of things become clear. Like what technology can help make our cars perform better, our trucks tougher, and help make them all safer for the street. Because at Ford, we want to stay ahead in more places than just the racetrack. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The ARCA drivers and the Sportsman drivers ran a preliminary event here at the Pocono International Raceway on Saturday. Randy Pemberton talks about that and some drivers who had some problems before qualifying and during qualifying, plus the highlights of the Champion Spark Plug 500.
Well, there were two 60-lap races on Saturday. For the Sportsman division, it was snowmobile champion Tim Bender picking up the win here at Pocono. In the ARCA Series race division, that was Ben Haas picking up his 4th win ever in that series. Now, the big news came during qualifying. Ken Schrader picked up his first pole position of 1992 with a brand new track record here at Pocono. On the outside of the front row would have been Davey Allison, but during post-qualifying inspection, the Haviland Ford was found to be 1/8 of an inch too low. Other guys that had to go during second round of qualifying were Ernie Irvin, second round quickest, also Dale Earnhardt. Now, other guys that didn't have quite as good a starting position were Darrell Waltrip, 24th position, and Harry Gant, who started in the 28th spot. The Champion Spark Plug 500 shifted into high gear with pole sitter Kenny Schrader showing the way. Schrader, one of the majority using a standard transmission, was passed by Mark Martin on lap 10. who had an overdrive in his Valvoline Ford. By lap 23 of the 200, 6 cars had already lost engines, including 9th place starter Ricky Rudd. Martin continued to hold the lead past the first round of green flag pit stops, which started on lap 35. He controlled the tempo in his T-Bird until Jimmy Horton had trouble in turn 3, the first of only 3 yellow flags in the race, which ended up finishing at a record pace. It was during this yellow flag that Martin left the pits without lug nuts on his left front wheel, forcing him to back up pit road for help. It cost him a lap. Also under this caution, the hood went up on Dale Earnhardt's GM Goodwrench Chevy. He battled power plant problems the rest of the afternoon and finished 28th. Through the middle stages, it was Ernie Irvin and the shifting Alan Kowicki that occupied the first 2 spots. Caution number 2 flew after Rusty Wallace ran over some debris, which forced him to the garage area for an extended stay. He finished 24th. Winston Cup points leader Davey Allison was able to take the lead until the final caution flag of the day came when Dale Jarrett spun his Interstate Battery Chevy on lap 136. It was Allison against Kowicki after the caution, but for Davey, it came down to a final green flag pit stop. On lap 161, Davey ducked his Ford in for fuel and rubber, but a problem with the jack jerked him out of contention with a 40-second pit stop. Bill Elliott, who elected to take on only 2 tires, took the lead on lap 176. But 5 laps later, Kowicki cruised by, apparently heading for a win. But after a slip, both Elliott and Mark Martin, who had regained his lost lap, made up the difference. Elliott and Martin haunted Kowicki until Allen took the lead for the final time with 10 laps to go. Martin also bypassed Elliott for second. For Kowicki, he notched his second win of the season with a record speed at over 144 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think we had the best car all day, and, we just ran a real deliberate, methodical sort of race, and, never really got excited, except there's one point I thought we had to race in the bag, and a lap car got in my way, and, boy, I almost got in the wall there and got a little upset then, but other than that, we just ran a pretty cool, conservative race, and the crew did a good job preparing the car. It ran good all day, and we're just gaining a little momentum here. We got a good team, and the guys are doing a great job.
It'll only be a month until we'll be back here at Pocono for their second race of the season. Their 2 races are the closest together of any on the circuit. We need to take a short break. Still to come is a profile on Jimmy Spencer, and we'll also take a look at some of the pressures that are involved in performing in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance at the finishing order for the Champion Spark Plug 500.
It is from Kodak. It delivers the highest resolution, microfine grain, superior image structure, for ultra-sharp detail. It is called Ektar. Ektar Film by Kodak. The genius is in the details. Ektar Film now comes in a new cartonless package in 25, 100, and 1,000 speeds.
Racing. I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, the speed's different, everything works different. It sounds totally cosmic. It's out there somewhere.
Kyle Petty and Mellow Yellow. There's nothing mellow about him.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. the driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Richard Petty, the only driver ever to win 200 Winston Cup races, all on champion spark plugs.
Jerry, your help out here really does make a difference in the way I run.
Well, Richard, this is our testing ground. It makes a difference in the way we build our spark plugs, too.
They work for me in both my cars, whether I'm racing or going home. I depend on champion spark plugs.
For more racing action, be sure to watch the Champion Spark Plug 400 on August 16th.
Catch 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
As long as there has been auto racing, there have been pressures involved with the drivers and others who compete in the sport. Certainly when I drove race cars, there were a lot of pressures, but I would say today that the pressures are greater than ever. Darrell Waltrip, of course, maybe has double pressures because he's a car owner and a driver. So this week, we're going to take a look inside of some of the pressures that are involved in competing in this sport.
Pressure is probably building in this sport.
You're talking about pressure. There's pressure. We go out to win every race we run.
I think the pressure comes more from the sponsors now than they do anybody else.
There's sponsor pressure, there's owner on the driver, there's driver on himself.
The pressure is self-implied. I think every competitor, whether he's the crew chief, whether he's the driver or the owner, it's self-implied. We have 29 chances to go out and win, and every time we don't, we feel like something, it got away from us, We literally live and die by whether we win or not.
Since 1982, Dale Earnhardt is the winningest driver on the circuit with 47 victories in 305 starts. But to even Earnhardt, that means he's lost 258 times, or 85% of his races. If you go back to 1981, Darrell Waltrip has the best average with 12 wins in both 1981 and 82. DW has won 54 times in his past 330 starts, for 16.4%. But over the last 2 years, he's only been to victory lane 2 out of 65 races.
When you've dominated and you're accustomed to dominating, and then all of a sudden you have to share the victories and all the other things that go along with being successful in the sport, when you got to start sharing that with a lot of other people, at first you wonder why, and then you get really frustrated as to why can't I go out and win that 10 or 12 races? Why can't I win that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 poles, whatever? And I guess the hardest thing to come to grips with is there are a lot of good cars in here and a lot of good teams and a lot of good drivers, and you're going to have to take a little bit smaller piece of the pie.
If Waltrip feels the pressure to perform with a Hall of Fame career that continues to flourish, there are some drivers that must have trouble sleeping at night. Chad Little has run only one complete season, and earlier this year, he was booted from the Cale Yarborough ride.
You know, the owners put a lot of pressure on the drivers sometimes, and then you get the personality problems within a team. You know, once that happens, and then people start pointing fingers, and then what do you do then? I mean, then there's pressure on the outside, and so I think every team's different. There's sponsor pressure, there's owner on the driver, there's driver on himself. You know, there's the driver pointing finger at the crew member and pressure on the crew to have the 19.5-second pit stop. So it's a vicious circle, it really is.
Car owner Junior Johnson has 2 drivers to be concerned about, but Bill Elliott has won 36 times in 361 career starts. Sterling Marlin each year is considered an up-and-coming competitor, but to this date, he's 0 for 232.
If the car owner thinks that a driver can do it all, then he's wrong too, because you got to have a good car, you got to have a good driver, and that both parties have got to apply 100% to it. But if you have bad luck, the sponsor thinks that the driver's not doing his job, he's going to put a pressure on the owner. And if the owner cannot get that pressure off from the other end way, he's got to change drivers other than losing the sponsor. That's just that simple.
Pressure is probably building in the sport, almost race by race. It's so competitive, and the sponsors will spend a lot of money. They want the TV time, they want the radio time, they want their car up front, so everybody is seeing it and talking about it. So, I mean, they don't directly put pressure on you. They don't come and grab you by the throat and say, hey, get up there or else. But you know that's what they're thinking.
If you're running up front, you're going to get all the exposure that this goes along with winning. And if you're leading the race a time or two during the season, you're going to get your share of exposure. So this satisfies the sponsors pretty well.
For crew members in Winston Cup racing, the pressure to perform doesn't just start with their very first pit stop. Pre-race inspection is intense and can be a pressure cooker in itself. But when the race is on the line, it's that perfect pit stop that can put you in victory lane. But then there's always Lady Luck. Sometimes it takes only seconds for a good run to go sour.
I mean, it tears you up. It just tears you up. Feel like someone reaches in there and just grabs everything and yanks it out when you can't go out there and run the way you know you can run. And it's a terrible feeling, a helpless feeling, but you never give up. You never give up.
Well, folks, as long as there's big money flowing through the sport, you can rest assured that those pressures are going to continue to rise. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll profile Jimmy Spencer. And as we leave you for this break, here's this week's Kodak Speedway Snapshot.
Brought to you by Kodacolored Gold 100 Film, the truest, most accurate color of any print film. Show your true colors on Kodacolored Gold Film, the official film of NASCAR.
The popular Pete Babb, a longtime NASCAR official, often serves as chef on race weekends in the Busch Gardens National Garage. But on this day, we caught him after his trusty grill gave out.
Looks like a sad moment in the history of auto racing. Pete, tell us what happened. How many laps did she go?
She went about 4 laps.
4 laps is all?
That's about all.
And she blowed up?
She blowed up.
Oh, this is sad. Well, you're behind the wall now. Think you'll be able to get back out there?
I seriously doubt it, but we're going to try.
All right, well, they're behind the wall now, but they got the crew ready to work on it.
To demonstrate the incredibly realistic color of Kodak Gold Plus film, just open the box. No other print film captures a wider spectrum of colors at any speed. Kodak Gold Plus film, true colors, more colors.
With cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, the world's a very cool place.
Well, I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. The protection that Pennzoil offers this race team makes us feel great. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. I recommend Pennzoil to everybody. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
Davey Allison captured last year's Miller Genuine Draft 400 at Michigan. In our Winston Cup points leader repeat, we'll bring you all the action from the Irish Hills next week.
Former Busch Grand National champion Chuck Bound returned to victory lane last year with a win at Myrtle Beach. Robert Presley finished second, and this year Robert is hunting for his third straight BGN win. We'll have all the highlights from the Carolina Pride 250.
Winston Cup teams travel the country testing at various racetracks all season long. But this week, they'll travel to the sacred grounds of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll have the story.
After a full year with the Travis Carter Racing Team in 1991, Jimmy Spencer went into the 1992 season with high hopes. He and Carter announced a sponsor in February just before they went to Daytona, thought they would run the full season, but unfortunately the sponsorship didn't work out, and now Carter had to close the team down. That put Spencer without a ride in Winston Cup racing. Bill Weber had an opportunity recently to sit down and talk to Jimmy about his career.
Jimmy Spencer's excitement and enthusiasm are his trademark, an indelible indication of his love of racing. His audacious approach has achieved mixed results and reviews. After the Coca-Cola 600, Travis Carter closed up shop, leaving Spencer for hire. Now he is the proud pilot for Dick Moroso, racing on a team he believes has the right ingredients to win.
Because I feel that Dick's always had excellent equipment. You know, he won the championship in '89 and he won Rookie of the Year in '90, and I think that Dick is got a little something to prove to the Winston Cup community and Busch in general. And I think he wants to prove it to not prove it, but I guess he wants to run well. And he hasn't ran as well as he wanted to this year. And, you know, once again, like I said about dailies, they've been in Busch racing a long time, and they haven't had the results they wanted. So hopefully we could turn it all around for him, and Dick and I are planning on doing that the rest of this year.
Spencer debuted his new Busch ride at Dover. Then at Orange County had the field covered until he was collected in this crash just 15 laps from the finish. Spencer's car was crushed, but his racing confidence had been rejuvenated.
I've been down on myself a lot this year. We've had some problems qualifying with Travis and myself, and we've had a lot of problems that I was wondering sometimes if it was me. And I think I put it all to rest Saturday night. Dick Moroso come to me and said, there's no doubt in my mind I made the right decision. You know, we qualified well, and I feel that we drove a perfect race. I think the crew did an excellent job. They did a great pit stop. We sat there and rode the top 5 all night long. When the time came, when the money came to try and win the race, we forged ahead and we were leading, you know, and I really feel that the Daly's car will be a contender the rest of the year.
Jimmy won back-to-back modified championships in 1986 and 1987. After a strong run with Frank Cece in the Busch Series, his promising Winston Cup career has been a victim of shaky sponsorships and dwindling dollars. His Rambo approach to racing has made him a fan favorite, but Spencer credits Travis Carter with soothing his style to save a car, making it last an entire race, a formula that almost took the two to victory last year at North Wilkesboro.
It meant so much to me to run and lead and be competitive in a Winston Cup race, because I've sort of struggled to that point last year. And then, I was on the inside, and a younger Jimmy Spencer would have probably hit Darrell Waltrip and knocked the tar out of him, but Travis taught me not to do that. You know what I mean? At that point in the race, Darrell was a little bit faster, and you have to respect that.
You having fun? I mean, racing, you started when you were a teenager, you're racing against your dad, and I can imagine it gets much more fun than that, and it is a business, but some guys I don't think have fun, but I think you do.
Oh, I do. Can't you tell me by the way I drive? I always feel that it's hard to get paid to do something that you do for nothing. And I would drive a race car for free. I love it so much. I love racing. I mean, if it was a quarter-mile track in Michigan or Pennsylvania or North Carolina versus a 2.5-mile Daytona or Talladega, I'd be there racing. I love it. And I've given it my whole life has been that. I don't have a lot of hobbies. My only hobbies I have is my 2 children. And I think that I will be successful in Winston Cup racing. And I love it, though. I will say that. It's just fantastic.
Perhaps no team deserves to win, certainly no team wants to win, more than Spencer and Moroso. Now working together, they combine the crew, the commitment, and the credentials to compete alongside some of the biggest names in racing.
I feel that I've done well in Winston Cup, but I haven't showed my full potential yet. And I have to get back to where I feel that the team is so critical in Winston Cup racing. One of the crew members can't give up, just like the driver can't give up. And if everybody works together, they'll come out on top. And I want to get into that situation again where I can give it my influence and help the team as much as I can, and hopefully have a team that's behind me. And you know, my Busch team's behind me 100%, and I feel that this could be where we'll be at in '93.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Our question this week is from our voicemail box from Bob McMahon of Connect, Missouri.
Do any of the two-car teams like Junior Johnson's or Jack Roush's have radios where the two drivers can communicate to each other? If not, why don't they?
Well, thanks, Bob. That's a very good question. The answer is yes, our two drivers can communicate with each other. I can communicate with Wally by myself. The two teams can communicate with each other just by simply switching channels. But if Mark needs to talk to Wally or Wally needs to talk to Mark, they have a channel they can go to and talk to each other as well.
If you have any race questions or would like to hear Winston Cup qualifying results, race results, or point standings, call us at 1-900-73-RACES. Charge is $1 per minute. Average call 2 minutes for mailbox or 3 minutes for results. Fans 18 and under get your parents' permission before calling. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket free. You'll also receive a free copy of NASCAR videos, A Week in the Life of a Race Team. The latest volume in the exciting series, bringing the NASCAR lifestyle roaring into your living room.
Now remember, for Winston Cup qualifying or race information, you can use a rotary dial or a touch-tone phone. But you must use a touch-tone phone to record your question in the mailbox. Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week on TNN. We'll come to you from Michigan.
Inside Winston Cup Racing has been brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Transportation for the Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. Promotional consideration and a fee paid for by the Champions Press, creators of the finest collectibles in the history of Winston Cup. And by NASCAR Video, taking you behind the scenes to meet the top drivers and personalities in the sport. Get your first volume featuring a week in the life of a race team. Order today.
Race Day, next on TNN. This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
Next time you're thinking about taking speed or speeding on a highway, stop and think how fast it could turn into tragedy. Experience the thrills of speed, the only way. With me, Bob Park, driver of the #19 United Ceramic Tile NASCAR Modified at Riverhead Raceway.